is Benny. There we go. I got to just for the audio listeners.
It's 8:21.
8:21. There we go. So, first of all, we've got to do all the standard stuff before we get down. Synchronized sound and vision, and hopefully I've got your name right.
It seems actually quite okay, which is impressive because most people have a hard time with it. Yeah.
Sorry. We're coming through on the other one. No. There we go. Stop. First of all, we've got to do all the standard stuff. Oh. Wow. Sound and vision. I'm having technical. Give me a second. I'm having technical difficulties. I might need to throw something out of the window.
I had the same thing myself the first time I streamed, so it's okay. Which is impressive.
I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I've not done this 20-something times before. Hello, Benny. How are you?
Hey, Mark. Good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. It's nice to have a good, solid start. Yeah, and that sets the tone. So if we're nice and relaxed at the beginning, and I haven't mucked stuff up, like streaming out to the wrong channels, or we go live, we start talking, and then I realise I haven't set it up to go live. And relax. So, Geeks on Screens with coffee. What are you drinking today?
Well, I'm drinking two things. I was overcome with stress of decisions. I've got coffee on the one hand, and then I've got a beer on the other hand. So I'll be mixing up things. The beer is actually one of the reasons why I couldn't decide how to get all this whiskey infused. So it's whiskey and beer because I couldn't choose between the two of them. It's better than it sounds. It is. It's better than it sounds. The main thing is you can only drink one of them because otherwise you'll end up sleeping somewhere.
Well, under a bush somewhere.
Yeah, likely. Yeah.
Oh, him. So I'm just doing a quick message. Just if anyone's got any questions for Benny, please post them up. Post. Up. I haven't really got the hang of this. I'm not really technical. I think that's what I'm discovering. So I haven't really got the hang of all this stuff.
It's different. Yeah, I found it myself as well. Yeah.
So
we're doing virtual streams for the user group we're doing, and it's harder than I thought. Yeah.
All right. Let's rewind.
Yeah.
Hello, Benny. What do you do?
Mark.
Tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, hey, by day I'm a senior data instance consultant, blah, 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 which is a lot of expensive words. Mainly I do things with data on the Microsoft data stack. A lot of activities with Power BI, but it's also data factory analysis services, Azure analysis services. And I'm starting to dabble about a bit more with Databricks and Synapse as well. Yeah. If I'm not doing that, then I'm spending a lot of time in the user group called Data Mines. Strategically put on a shirt today for that as well. Belgian SQL Server user group by heart. We've branched out and we're doing the same things. It's everything Microsoft data and AI related, and we do user group events. We do a conference, we do AI boot camps, all those different sorts of things. Pretty much it. Yeah.
So you're streaming events. How's that going?
It is not as high tech as it should be. Well, yes and no. It is mainly we usually do 2 sessions. We get the speakers in a Teams event, and then we stream the feed coming in from Teams. That goes into OBS with some scenes and some overlays, and then I stream that into YouTube. No multi-platform streaming, just YouTube for now. Yeah. So
that's pretty much exactly what we're doing now. So we're talking over Teams. What people can't see, which I don't know whether it's worth me even showing, is that there's a cutout. That effectively you're cut out. So the little window you get in the bottom of Teams, the one where you can normally shift it around if you've got a newer version. My version of Teams, I can't get rid of it. So effectively part of the screen is cut off. And then we're in streaming out of OBS. And that's going up to Restream, which is then doing the going out to YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, and other stuff. But I don't know. I think one channel might be easier to manage. So It is easier to manage.
It is easier to manage because I mainly just monitor the YouTube chat for questions. It's a bit of a drag that you've got 10, 15, 20 seconds delay, but you get the hang of it to manage it. But it works. The thing is that we had some discussions up front as well, whether we were going to, what platform, what things we were going to do. Some other idea was to use Skype for Windows and use those NDI streams to start capturing all those things individually, which is cool, but I've tried it, I told no, I'm not going to do it for now. I didn't get it to work properly, but I also just read now, glazed over it, is that NDI is also coming to Teams soon-ish. So that's probably what I'm going to try and use then as soon as it comes out. All
right. So I tried playing with that NDI driver, and it just wasn't working in Skype. I could set it up, but it just wasn't doing what I expected it to do. But I spun up a VM on my MVP credits, one of the GPU VMs, the ones that blow money by the minute, and it worked pretty okay there. But I haven't tried setting it up on a local machine, and I'm not even thinking that I'll do that actually, because I want it to be in a VM so that any one of our team members can take over for another session. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about spinning it up for the GPU. So
it makes sense because you offload a bit of the workload that you're doing in the local machine as well, and the network speeds on those things is ridiculous. They can definitely handle it.
Yeah, and if I did that, I'd get rid of the machine noise. So one of the reasons why, I'm running everything off an old Lenovo laptop. It's got 32 gig of RAM. It's an i7. It's not the newest i7s. But everything kind of works. It doesn't use up much of the CPU. But let me have a look. Task Manager. While we're doing a live stream. Oh, I say much. It's at 40%, 33% now, 30%. And Teams is taking the majority of that. 15%. OBS is taking 7%.
Yeah, that's Teams.
Yeah, Teams is almost using a whole gig of RAM. So I tried to use Skype in the beginning because I didn't want the overhead of running Teams. But I have considered using, and I will be playing with Zoom, but only because of the gallery view.
Yeah, but Zoom, it's another account because you can't be doing the free version of Zoom for that 40-minute restriction, and I'm not going to pay money for a paid Zoom account when I've got Teams at my disposal.
Yeah, absolutely. Zoom is great at what it's doing, and it's filling a very good niche in the market. And there is Teams for free, so people can. It's not called. Well, you're an MV, so you might know this better than I would. Did they rename it from Teams for free?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because there is just go onto your favorite search engine.
Ask Jeeves, was it right?
Yeah, Ask Jeeves.
Yeah,
that's my favorite one. It used to be Alta Vista, but I've gone back to Ask Jeeves.
I can understand why.
Have you seen me talk before?
I've seen 2 episodes, and luckily in one of those 2 episodes it was you mentioning Ask Jeeves. So
I mentioned it in a talk I did. Go onto your favourite search engine, Ask Jeeves, and then there was a tweet about it going, I learned 2 things. One, like the SQL on demand documentation is live, and then the other one was Ask Jeeves is still a thing.
It's usually stuff like that that gets picked up, and those things go viral in our little world. They get a lot of response. Yeah.
So what other? So I mean, I'm only because I'm interested, and this is my show, so we'll talk about what I want. It's because it's about me. So what are you struggling with the streaming then? Is it just the tech? Is it just getting used to OBS? Or have you tried Streamlabs OBS?
I haven't tested Streamlabs OBS.
Okay.
I mainly started off on a suggestion from one of our teammates, Sammy, and he got us set up. Well, from Henk Poelman. He's one of the AI advocates at Microsoft, I think, and he made an entire post describing how he set up OBS with multiple Skype accounts and then into Restream.io and fixing the entire thing. Okay. And that's what I based myself on. But then I decided on because NDI was not working completely to what I wanted, to just go with Teams. But OBS itself is the first time we went live, I forgot there was a mute button, and then I had some echoes and it's I know, and it was hard, but I'm starting to get the hang of it now. I've just done the third virtual session just before getting into this call, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. Yeah.
Have you tried the Elgato? Have you seen the Elgato? Control.
The Stream Decks.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. No, not yet.
I mean,
I've been looking at the hardware, but again, they are fairly costly, and I don't want to splash too much cash at once.
Well, no, it costs. I mean, everything I've got is cobbled together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went for a green screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a similar thing where I looked at Scott Hanselman's post on his setup, and Brett Ozar because he put another post up about how he's using Streamlabs.
Mm-hmm. I saw a post from Adam Saxton, guy in a cube as well, where he tours his studio and yeah, that's next level. Well, next level. Yeah, that's
well, so you steal bits when you can.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done is I used to have the green screen behind me, but it would take me 15 because it's just in the office that I'm using. The room I'm using is an office. It's a bedroom. So I need to take the green screen down, but you need to light it. So it takes about 15 minutes to set it up before even I talk to you, which then takes another 5-10 minutes now that I've got. I would say good, but then I messed it up. So getting better. Yeah.
And then I have to take it down again, and it's a lot of time then. Yeah.
And I have two laptops set up on my desk, one for work, and then another one for this. And so then I'd have to move stuff around, and I'd have to unplug devices because I was using and then OBS wasn't then picking the devices up. I'd have to re-add them back in, etc. So what I've done is here, and as you saw it earlier when we weren't live, this is the streaming desk, and so I've got a bookshelf. Everyone needs a bookshelf. So the reason why I had a green screen is there's just an awful blank wall, and you get mostly a light bulb.
Yeah.
So now I've turned everything around, so you see a bookshelf and some toys. So there's a right. I need a different finger. That one.
It's the geek shelf.
Well, that there is a saw mask. So, and we've got some other stuff. So there's a pickle Rick, which isn't coming up. Oh, I know what it is.
Pickle Rick. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do some live editing in. If we go into here, and there's some oddities, and I noticed that, and that's because of the green screen. So if I go into my live cam, go into filters, and then I can take my chroma key off. Yeah, okay, you can see Pickle Rick now. No, Yeah, that's a typewriter, which obviously should be out. I'm not even sure what's on the screen behind me. Oh yeah, sorry, that's some slides from work. Industry leading security and compliance. Sorry, that was one of the Synapse decks. We could go through. No, right. Yeah. So let's go back to us. F2. That's where I need a Stream Deck. So I can do. I've just got function keys set up to do that.
Switching scenes makes it a lot easier with a Stream Deck. I agree. Yeah.
So where were we? Okay. So this is the streaming setup. Everything is set up here on one desk, and then the work desk is behind me. So then I don't have to change any of this. This is all set up.
Yeah.
And I think that will save me a bit of time rather than. So I'll just be able to turn the laptop on and everything's all plugged in. Because OBS gets a bit finicky if you plug a USB into a different port.
Plug and play is not something that it supports.
No, it's but it's really for free. It's I mean it's really good. I mean
I agree. For open source free, it is incredible, and it's being used by so many people these days.
Yeah, yeah. So I was reading. Ooh, what's that? Oh, YouTube. Okay, good. We got an alert from YouTube. Oh, so there was someone else watching, not just me. What I haven't been doing is watching the chat, and that's where you need a producer, someone to do that for you. But I don't trust anyone enough to do that. That's our problem. We work in data. We're control freaks.
Yeah.
I'd have to.
And we're paranoid because we always have to double check if it works.
Yeah,
that's the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't trust that someone else will do it because they'll do it wrong. Is that just me?
No, I agree. Yeah, I shouldn't, but I agree.
So, how long have you been an MVP for?
2.5 months.
Oh, so you're a new MVP?
Yeah, fairly new. Yeah.
So
March 1st, I got the lucky email. Yeah.
So was that something you were kind of aware of?
Yes and no. I did. Well, I had my first nomination going, and that was rejected. And then I took a bit of time to think about, do I really want to have to enter all those things again? Because they delete it. They don't change it to a state. They just delete it. And then you have to go and manually add everything again, which takes a couple of hours. And then I did it. And then quite short after, like a month and a half, 2 months after, I got the email. So I wasn't expecting the email. But yeah, I was happy with it nonetheless.
I think they probably delete it for GDPR reasons, and so I think that's probably the most sensible thing.
Yeah,
not because they want to see how dedicated you are, whether you enter in all that information again.
Will he add everything again or not? Yeah.
Will he add the same things? Will he add?
That's
new
actually
things?
what I thought as well. Is that are they checking it and are they doing a compare? But I'm not sure. That's the great thing about the MVP process, is that it's covered in a lot of mystery and no one actually knows how it works. It's just there, and sometimes it appears for some people and sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, someone definitely is watching. Is that Thorning?
Used.
Used. Thorning.
Used. He's a Danish MVP, a data platform as well. Yeah.
These are people that I probably haven't. So I haven't met you in real life before, or not that I'm aware of.
We haven't spoken in real life. Yeah.
But we may have. I almost certainly would have seen you somewhere, but I just pass like ships in the night. We would be passing at a conference, and if you were one of these people that was in the speaker room, well, then I probably wouldn't have seen you. I don't hang with the cool kids.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah. It's different worlds, speakers and other people. I'm not one of those people that spends his entire day in a speaker room. I'm not one of those. definitely not.
So I don't really know kind of the other people in kind of the other MVPs. I don't travel for the SQL Saturdays kind of. Even going to the ones in the UK, I tried to get to them, but it can be a bit of a challenge. Just when you become an MVP, it does seem to be that you have to get onto the the train of going around to do,
Yeah.
It's
But there is two different cycles. I think it's the UK people that generally stay in the UK, and then you've got a bunch of the Europeans, and they do the surrounding countries a lot. So they don't go too far. Most of them, they don't go too far. I, for instance, have not done any SQL Saturday in the UK yet.
Okay. Well, you might have to wait for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, right, we'll get onto that again. And I think so. How is your lockdown? How's the lockdown down in Belgium?
We're starting to come out of lockdown. Trade shops are open, and barber shops and beauty parlors and whatever, they're starting to open up. But I'm still working from home full time until at least the end of May. And to be honest, I don't have any reason to go outside again to customers in June so far, because it's been amazing to see how quick everything's been turned into virtual events, and just we'll make a Teams meeting out of it. It does mean that I can't do some things right now, but it's been changed in most ways. Yeah. The main thing that I can't do right now is that I spend a lot of my time. I used to spend a lot of my time at customers at a whiteboard, just drawing things and making architectures and explaining things, and I cannot do that from home because I cannot put up the laptop and then go stand at a whiteboard behind me and draw things. That just doesn't work the same way. So it's those kind of things that are difficult right now. And you've got whiteboards. No, I don't think whiteboard is enabled for Teams yet. It's only the Microsoft tenant.
Yeah. I was just having a look.
Yeah, because I had a meeting with some Microsoft people last week, and they wanted to share that, and then I got a warning saying this is not released to the public yet. Something you cannot see this. So
what I have is, and I've done for customers, is a few years ago my daughter wanted to do some drawing on the computer, so we bought one of the, I can't remember. There's quite a famous make of it's just a pad with a pen. And
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, like an Etch-a-Sketch, but then a bit more digital and fancy.
Yeah, and so I did borrow that, and then kind of just bring up Paint, and then you just draw it out, and it's then kind of a whiteboard. I mean, I had seen a guy called Andrew Fryer also do something very similar, but with a camera, and you can buy them. You basically get a camera on a little tripod over the top, and then you draw on the paper. You just have some paper, and then you draw on it, and it's just videoing you draw, and you just switch cameras.
Well, it sounds very cool, but is it like one of those keyboards where they project the keys onto a surface, and then the second you start typing, it doesn't work the way it should? Is it one of those things?
No. It is just a camera on top, above, and then kind of it's just recording like a bit of paper, and you just write on the paper, and you can just. So it is just you sketching out. Yeah. Obviously, having some sort of frame thing is not ideal, but because it will get in the way. But that kind of worked for him. But yeah, so the kind of the whatever it was, the handwriting thing, kind of worked. It's a bit ropey, but
I spent the majority of my time the last weeks writing out documents anyway, so it was okay. I didn't have to do that many whiteboard sessions. Well, that and spending too much time on Teams calls. That's the two main things I've been doing lately.
And I'll get his name wrong. Is it Klaus Aschenbrenner? Aschenbrenner. I'm sure I've seen him do stuff at I don't know if it was a whiteboard or whether it was like an A3 flip chart. I'm sure I've seen videos on YouTube.
I think
it's
I
5
think,
minutes.
It's the SQL Passion quickies or
Yes,
quickies in the German accent. I've seen those as well. Yeah.
Did I dream it, or did he do that?
He did do it, but I can't recall which one. But it's probably about the tipping point, or the tipping point of bookmark lookups. It's probably about that one.
Yeah.
The man is legendary. I cannot say anything else. He's done so many sessions, and he usually goes in deep as well.
Oh yeah. He's a 400-500 level. He's certainly 400 level. I have seen him. I haven't seen him in the last couple of years, but there was a period of time he was coming over to the UK and SQL Bits and SQL Relay and other events where I just seemed to bump into him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen him, whether he's just, he's got his own consultancy. So you must go through those peaks and troughs where you've got more time to travel and other times where, you're too busy with the customer work.
Yeah, I can imagine that he's got a lot of work to do as well for his consultancy company.
Yeah. Shall we do the MVP quiz? Because
sure.
I didn't realize that you were such a new MVP because, okay, that's very interesting. Did I? I did. No, I've got to launch the program. Bear with me. I will be there in a second. It's not like I should have prepared this in advance. So in next week, I'm going to be doing the last of what I'm calling season 1, and you should have got the invite to the season 1 end party.
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't want to accept yet because I didn't know that I'd liked you or not. So I kept it on tentative for now.
Fair enough. Yeah, all right. I mean, yeah. Let's be completely open about this. I quite like you. You seem quite nice, but it could drop off by the end. So, but you're doing.
Maybe the real side of me comes up in just a minute. We'll see.
And I worked out that there's 31 people, so 30 different interviews, which was more than I thought it was. So that's gone out. Maybe 31. So 32, because I did a double with Andrew Pusky and Anthony.
That's the 8 KB one. Yeah.
All right. There we go. Right. Are you ready?
I hope so.
Now the first one might actually be a bit trickier. So let's go. Okay. And so we're going to change all these for season 2. So this might be something I'll ask you about, or we'll wait for the party. But what does MVP stand for?
Most valuable professional, but then you add Microsoft if you want to or not.
Yep. Is there a secret handshake?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Who's the tallest MVP?
That question. There is only one right answer, and that is me. I'm the tallest MVP, and quite frankly, I'm appalled that so many people said that Alex Whittles is the tallest MVP.
In your face.
That's the most outrageous thing I've heard so far.
In your face.
That's the reason. That's the only reason why I wanted to come on this call is just to rectify that, to make sure that it's out of this world. Period.
I mean, he's tall, and it may just because he's got such a big head that people think he's so tall. He's even taller than he is.
It's the hair. It's the hair that adds another 2 centimeters as well.
Do you think that's what it is? I always thought it was the. If you've ever noticed Alex from a distance, you actually can see that he's got lifts in his shoes to give him that little extra height.
I'd have to check it. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't notice it at conferences where people are packed in together, But from a distance,
it's camouflaged. It's actually quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he's actually about 3 inches shorter than he looks, but he just makes himself look taller. Oh, and you are, did you say you were 6 foot?
Well, in meters and centimeters, it's 2 meters and 3 centimeters. But in feet and inches, it's somewhere between 6'6" and 6'7". Rounded up, it's going to be 6'7".
So in the UK, we need to be about 1 Benni apart, which is 2
That makes
meters.
sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So we need at least. So when sequel bits happens, hopefully that social distancing stuff will have sorted itself out. But right now we have to have at least one horizontal Benni between us.
It's good. Yeah, it's a new measure, and it could work in the UK. To be honest, it's even crazy enough for the Americans to pick it up. To be honest, if they've probably got some weird thing that they need to measure out for that.
Yes, not from what I've seen on the news, but and so we had anti lockdown protesters in the UK. Now the problem is there were I think there were about 60 people doing this one protest, and they're the people that get all the press coverage, not the however many millions who are at home going, this isn't good, but we've got to bear with it, otherwise kind of it could be much worse.
Yeah, we hadn't had any protests for that, for anti-lockdown protests. We've had other, but not for that.
I think what happens is that when Germany started opening up, was it last week?
Yeah,
or maybe even
probably.
the end of the week before that. And someone was I was having a Teams call, and they were at work. And that wasn't that must have been last week, maybe even earlier. And then other European countries come out of lockdown, then people in the UK will see that and go, well, why can't we do that? And then when you look at the numbers, and we've still got hundreds every day still dying, and we've still got lots of people, infections are still significant.
They're still happening. Yeah. The numbers are going down drastically in Belgium, and they're slowly starting to loosen things up. Very slowly.
Yeah. So whether we'll just see how things go. And I guess if people thought about it, they would let the other European countries go first, see how their opening up goes, see what they've done, and then work out the
strategy. Yeah,
work out the best from other countries. We locked down really late in comparison, which is probably why our numbers.
Yeah, but it was that weird thing where you contemplated herd immunity as well as the Dutch. They were contemplating it as well, and then decided on a late lockdown. It's different strategies, but the thing is that we'll never know if it was better or not. We'll never know for sure, because there's no actual data for any of it to make decent decisions.
Yeah, I mean, Sweden chose a different model. New Zealand they acted really early and did lots of contact. Germany did lots of contact tracing and stuff. And
contact tracing doesn't work in Belgium. It does not work. Because they had this entire campaign on the news and in the newspapers saying that if people call you from this number, from the call center, please answer honestly and openly about these questions. And still about 2/3 of the people say, nope, I'm not going to say it. It's my privacy. Bye. And that's why contact tracing does not work. And there's been a bit of a scandal in the surrounding data platform as well for the contact tracing. So
please tell me
it's a multi-million euro deal that could have been way cheaper, and the rates for the call center people were about 50% higher than they usually were. And then there's one of the big 4 companies in there as well. I cannot name them for legal purposes, but they're in there as well, and their rates they don't come for free as well. And that was a big scandal as well, about that costing way too much money.
Yeah, I think
in total it was 116 million for getting the people, getting those contact trace people, getting the interfaces going, making sure the data is stored everywhere, them getting access to the different things, and then the big four company managing the entire thing. 116 million, and it could have been 1/3 of the total price.
Yeah. In the UK, they were trying to get people to do employed for contact tracing, but on a minimum wage. So this is a really important job. Everyone's got, it's so important, this job, and we'll pay you the minimum amount.
You should do it. You should do it out of grace for humanity, and not out of That's probably what they were saying. Yeah.
So we've gone right. Let's get back.
We're taking things astray. Yeah.
Let's get back on track. In your face, Alex Whittles.
Yes,
we got there.
yes.
Okay. Tiny Alex Whittles, we'll call him. So,
Good.
you
I shall just refer to him as Mini Me from now. Maybe that works better.
Mini
Me.
There's a show in the UK called Taskmaster, and it's presented by two quite tall people, and one of them is referred to as Little Alex Horn, and he is over 6 foot.
Yeah.
So, all right, back to where we were. Do you get free parking?
No, sadly, I still pay way too much for parking. Yeah.
So, what's the best thing you've got so far for being an MVP?
In regular times, it would have been MVP Summit. Virtual one was still okay. Let's say materialistic MVP credits are fun because I get to play around with things. That's one. But MVP DLs so far have been actually quite good for me as well, because you see a whole new set of discussions opening up and people discussing things, and that's actually quite valuable as well if you can get through the flooding of certain people.
Oh,
there's some people sending a significant amount of emails in there, and you have to wade through them.
Right. This is an offline conversation. We'll put a pin in that one.
Okay.
Have you got Bill Gates' phone number?
No, because I didn't have my intake call with Satya yet. I'll get it later. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Finish the story. 3 MVPs walk into a bar.
They find a karaoke machine, put it on Twitter that it's there, and then 100 other MVPs show up.
Yeah. And can you sneak me into the next MVP Summit?
Well, I'll have to say no, because I want to get there at least once myself as well before getting ejected.
Yes, I have heard the story about somebody not getting someone in, but
I've heard tales. Yeah,
taking photos or something, and then kind of being asked to leave.
Asked, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Asked politely. Would you mind not attending the rest of the conference?
and just not showing foot on premises again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, and by the way, you haven't got your MVP, and you need to be out of that hotel. I don't know if that happened. I'm making that up, but
it's likely that they gave him like one night or something to get flights arranged. But yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. We can make it up, though. We could say that kind of
That's the beauty of Tales. You can add anything that you want to it. It's and then someone will pick it up and they'll add something to it, and then you get completely ridiculous stories about things that never happened.
There's a secret bunker underneath Building 92 with all the old machines, and kind of that's where the kind of the torture chamber is.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it sounds about right. Yeah,
they put a cray on your chest, and to see when you'll confess to being a witch. Sorry, I went a bit dark then. Sorry, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure what I was doing there. So the other most important question, Benny, is what is your favourite cheese?
it is hard to name one cheese. In general, I like all of them, but my favorite one would be the Trappist cheese from Westmalle, from the brewery of the monks. That's about 5 minutes drive down the road here. I used to drive my bicycle by it every day to go into school, and it's excellent. The general rule is that if it's aged, it's better, and if it smells, it's even better. That's the general rule about cheese.
Oh, I can't tell you what what would be a good term? Sort of a very uncultured palate that I have. Growing up, where the only cheese you would ever get would be a straight cheddar, or maybe if it was you were pushing the boat out, maybe some Dairy Lee. Now, that's the cheese, soft cheese you used to get in triangles.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah. In silver foil. I don't know whether they would have them in
it's called smeerkaas in Belgium. I know what you mean. Yeah.
But it's cheap, nasty cheese. I mean, I don't know if it's even related to cheese.
Somehow. There's probably some trace of fermented milk in there, but yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but Belgium is surrounded by the Netherlands, by France, and Belgium is a great cheese country itself. So we get exposed to those things at an early age.
Yes. I don't do cheese anymore. But that's for political and ethical reasons and social economic.
Okay.
I don't do dairy. So that's good. But so we are going to have, our time is coming to an end.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, we've been talking. It's after 9. Unfortunately, time does. Yeah, I know. Time does fly.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to keep doing this because I have to. There's certain questions that I want to get in. Otherwise, we would just talk all evening. So there are 2 things. One is Richard Herring's emergency question, which is he's a comedian in the UK, and he's written these. He does lots of interviews, so I wrote a load of questions. He came up with these emergency questions. So if the conversation was having a bit of a lull, he would then ask one of these questions, and some of them were quite rude, which we won't cover.
It's a family show.
Because he would do the interviews every week. You are right, it is a family. Yeah. Oh, you got that in before I did. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh,
Is my likeliness factor going down now?
No. It's like this. It was like this, right? Going up, 45-degree angle, and now it's just gone up like that. It's not
scoring points. Yeah.
That comes from another podcast, so I don't have any original ideas.
That's okay.
I used to be a developer. There were 2 keys. Control C, Control V. That's how you develop. Right? So I take that methodology into the rest of my life. So basically, I just steal other people's ideas. So this really is just, this whole podcast is just someone else's idea that I've stolen. And where was I going with that? But that reference to It's a Family Show comes from another podcast called The Bugle, which is a political satire one in the done by a guy called Andy Zaltzman. And so when he has guests on and then they say something slightly rude, he uses that phrase. So I just stole it from him, and now someone else used it. Oh, it's a meta joke inside another meta joke inside another meta joke. We're 3 levels deep in Inception.
So we're going recursive CTEs. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Which
we'd have to get it back to nerd level. Yeah.
So we'll go back to Synapse where we don't support those. Synapse sequel pools. Sorry. No. Okay. Yes. Emergency questions. Oh, so tangent. And think of someone who would be who would enjoy having I'd enjoy having a chat with for season 2.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
So pick a number between 1001, and then I'll just give you the question.
Yeah, I'm assuming the obvious numbers are gone, like 42 and 666 and 66. Like those are gone.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Let's go with 314.
I'm with you. Someone who likes pie.
Yes. Well, not on charts, but yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll see where this goes. Which 5 famous puppets would you invite to your birthday party?
Ooh. Well, Kermit has to be one. Kermit the Frog from the Muppet. Miss Piggy, because then you'd have some dynamics. What other puppets? Probably Pinocchio, because I want to see how far his nose can stretch before he falls over. What other puppets? I've heard legendary tales about your puppet show for a lightning talk, so I'd probably want to see that puppet as well, to see the lightning talk.
I mean, I can. So which one? Because there were actually 2.
There were multiple. I didn't know. I just heard that you did a lightning talk with puppets.
So, well, I did 2. I did one at Sequel Bits, which was my first one. Sorry, carry on, and then I can do my little bit, and then.
Yeah. But the 5th one, I'd have to think. Probably you're not gonna know him, but it's called All You Wanna Be, and it's this character from a Belgian TV show, and it's a puppet. It's a monkey puppet. He's full of himself, and he thinks he's the world, and he's got a gigantic ego, and he makes everything about himself, and it generally leads into quite good things. I know. But yeah, that's the 5. Kermit, Piggy, Pinocchio, that one as well, because it's yeah. And then All You Wanna Be, that's the 5.
So we did 2. One where the puppet was called Professor Gunther von Hagendas.
Okay, good.
And obviously, so that was a play on words between obviously Haagen-Dazs ice cream, but I think it's Professor Gunther van Han. The guy did the plastination museum, and where he basically took people's body parts and injected after they were dead, injected resin into them and cut them up and did all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah. But I cannot get the name for the life of me. Okay. So.
Yeah, and so I was doing a lightning talk, and then I realised I was typing on the keyboard, and so you can't type with. It doesn't really work. And then the other one where I did a recording, and then kind of it's just me talking in front of everybody else, and then that idiot who's got his hand up my ass was down on the floor, and I just did everything. I did all the work. He just took all the credit afterwards and then shoved me in a bag like a real dick. What a dick move, eh? Thank you for that. Yes, that was a really good answer. So it's trying to come up with a really good use for him, because he sort of takes over.
Yeah, I can imagine that he's a handful.
Yeah, and I start saying inappropriate things because it's not me; it's the puppet.
It's not you; it's the puppet.
The puppet says
and they've got a will of its own. They've got a will of their own. Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying all these awful things about Windows and saying that everyone must use a Mac and Linux. It was terrible.
One of those.
Yeah.
If that's the obscenity that came out of him, then it's quite all right. Yeah.
No. So
the puppet didn't get ejected from SQL bits, so it was within limits.
Yes. No, it didn't. It was fine. It was. It was one of those lightning talks that was marked or graded, and I think Grant
one of those.
Finchie said something like he was speechless. So I took that as a good thing.
You rendered Grant speechless.
Yeah.
That's quite good. Yeah, that's quite a feat.
I mean, I think it was a compliment. I took it as a compliment.
That's the way you should take it.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't let me back in the room, but I'm sure it was fine.
Well, it probably was because the other ones would have been too intimidated by your presence that they would not be able to go on anymore. So it's probably just that.
Yeah. That's clearly what it must have been. Yeah, I must do it again.
You should. I'd come see it if it were at Bits the next time. I would come and see it.
Oh, I kept suggesting it and they kept rejecting it. Because of so many other good speakers. That's why.
Yeah, that's what I noticed as well. Is that they get an insane amount of people. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just submitting and then having to give them sessions. I don't want to imagine how hard that is. No.
I have been involved once, maybe twice in that. Yes, it's not fun because no matter how you try and help pick the sessions, because you're just giving your opinion on which ones you think might be good. There's always other great sessions that don't get picked because it's just what is it? I can't remember. It's 8, maybe 7 sessions a day, 6 sessions a day. I mean, now it's 5 days. Is it 5 days? They put an extra day on.
Yeah, it's training days included. Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, for Data Minds Connect, we do 1 day, and then it's we get to pick 40-ish sessions out of 300 submissions, and that is horrendous. And that's only 300 submissions. And I cannot imagine what it is to have to do that.
I mean, my favourite technique is you put them all on a list against a wall and then you just throw darts at it. And I find that's the fairest way of that
works, but we got some complaints in the office that we're not allowed to play with darts anymore. So I don't think that would work. We'd have to go for Nerf guns drenched in paintball paint. That would not make any holes in the wall. Yeah, I think that would work.
Yeah, could have other issues, but yes, no, I'm sure it would work.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. So before we say goodnight, and this has been quite a lot of fun.
It has. It really has.
Oh dear. Sorry. I'm going to listen to this one when I listen to this back. And I do the audio stuff, I will laugh.
Good.
I'm very tempted to. Yes, it's gone a bit. When a podcast or a show or a thing, whatever this is, refers back to itself, is probably the best compliment that you could get. Is someone actually not only did you watch enough of it to make sense of it, but to actually pick up on the jokes and then play them back. I think
it is ideal to just watch when you're working and just put it up on a second screen and then watch it in between. It's ideal for that. The 2 I saw were good fun, and I'll probably go ahead and watch some more with the people I know. Yeah.
I mean, this was only supposed to be like 20 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes. They were only supposed to be 50 because I didn't think people would watch long videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then they'd start to naturally sort of slip into quite long videos. Because there's just, but you get 40 minutes in and I haven't even asked you a question, not a proper question. I haven't asked you any of the silly questions. It's a bit of social interaction and a bit of fun.
Yeah. So it's good fun.
Who should I talk to next? Who do you think would enjoy it?
So that's for season 2 then.
Yeah.
And that's actually the question I have for you. Is Buck gonna be the season finale, or is that gonna be season finale for season 2?
No.
Or is that a spoiler that I should not have asked?
No. So Paul. So I was thinking about Oops, something's playing in the background. Oh, something's gone wrong. Sorry. Oh, technical problems. There we go. All right, sorry. I'm with you. I haven't made a cock up. That was deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
I was saving Buck for later on because I wanted to get better at doing this before I got Buck on. Because
you'd have to be at your best to go up against Buck because he can play you like a fiddle.
Oh, you don't go up against Buck.
No.
If you think there's a contest there, you've lost. I mean, you invite Buck on. You say, "Hi, Buck. How are you?" And then Buck then can talk for an hour, two, whatever. It wouldn't be my show. It would be his show from that point onwards.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to add anything of any value to having Buck. But I thought, so Paul Andrew, or Paul Andrews, as I call him, which is not his name, but I just called him that every time I spoke to him, just to wind him up, just because it amused me in a small. Because
I've heard similar tales of you doing stuff like that to amuse. Yeah.
Purely to amuse myself, because I'm a small petty man. I'm petty and vindictive.
The best one I've heard was from Simon Whiteley, and he told me a story about you at bits turning up the temperature in some room to like insane.
All right.
And that's the kind of jokes I like.
All right, there was another one, which I'm glad you didn't mention, because that's one that shouldn't be mentioned online.
No.
Yes. Well, all right. Since you mentioned it, I can't remember what happened first, but it was Sequel Relay. We were going round, and they had quite a compact, small room with quite a few people in it, so it was getting quite hot. And they did a morning session, then an afternoon session, and I was checking the rooms and making sure stuff was set up for the afternoon, as you do when you're sort of helping out. And I saw the remote, and I'd been in there earlier, and it was a bit warm, and I thought, well, if I just turn it right up, because if you've ever seen Simon Whiteley, when he gets quite,
I know him quite well. Yeah, I know him quite well.
He can get quite move a lot, and he does sweat when he's not just the beer sweats, but just he can sweat. So I just turned it up, and then I put the temperature control just at the back of the room.
Yeah,
under a folder, under something else in a cupboard.
It's jokes like that I like. It's a practical joke. Yeah.
But I can't remember whether that was before or after. I think that was after we were out in the evening, and I had got my bag and stuff, and so I put it in Terry's room. So Terry McCann,
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
So I think that I did that on the second day, but on the first day, I dropped my stuff off in Terry's room because he gave me the key, and I thought, that's quite a nice room. I'll turn the aircon up. and so 4 or 5 hours later, he goes back to the room, and it's like at 30 something degrees. And I completely forget about it. And I can forget about it until the next day. He kind of mentions, going, God, my room was so hot last night. And of course, because it's me, I have to own up. Because there's no, you can't stay quiet. Yes, yeah, and then I can't remember why I carried it on to the following day, but it seemed like a good idea.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, but yeah, they can take a hit and they'll laugh about it. So if it's good fun.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it if I didn't know them quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I thought you were going to come up with another
No,
example.
no. I'm wise enough to not put that on the interwebs. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you know the example I'm thinking of, but
Probably, but we're not going to mention it. Yeah.
I'll share it after. It's not rude. It's just very, very dark. Yes. So in fact, that actually answered another question about best story you've heard about yourself or someone else. I forgot about that. Yeah, thank you for reminding me.
No problem.
Okay, who do you think would enjoy talking to me next for season 2?
Well, I'd like to split it because I think you should talk to more women on the one hand.
Yeah.
But I also think that Alexander Arvidsson, Arctic DBA, and you would be a fantastic conversation. Because do you know him, Alexander Arvidsson?
I think I do. Unfortunately, I don't know him by that name.
I'll ping it on Twitter that he's nominated. But I think the two of you would be an excellent conversation. Alexander he does an own podcast called Knee Deep in Tech, which is quite cool as well. And I think the two of you can have a long conversation about streaming and gear and whatever.
Oh, cool. I think I met him at one of the sequel Saturdays.
Yeah, probably. He travels around a lot. Yeah.
Yes. We'll save it. He just looks so much like Hank Scorpio. If you Google Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons, and he is, and it wouldn't be just if he just looked like a Simpsons character. It would just be one thing, but it's my favourite Simpsons character. So Hank Scorpio, he's the one who tries to take over the world. He has a secret base and he kills James Bond.
Yeah.
And buys Homer, the Denver Cowboys or someone. Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, I will. I'll reach out to him. And I'll
look it up. Well, I'd like you to go up to Nordics as well. So let's say Ida Bergum. She's a Norse data platform MVP.
Oh, I've not heard of her.
Yeah, she's mainly into Power BI as well. But yeah, let's see what it gives.
I won't hold that against her. I mean,
no.
Other reporting tools
are available. We're only Power BI people as well. So
yeah, I mean, you can't improve on reporting services, so you just have to have another product that does something else.
You can't improve, but what is there anything you cannot do with reporting services? That's the real question you should ask.
You can't do
reporting wise, because you can do literally everything with it.
Yeah, you can do sliders and you can do all sorts of funky stuff. All right, it's probably not as great on a mobile device as Power BI.
No,
so
probably, yeah.
But it was designed when mobile phones were just Nokia, like, what's it, 2310s, 3310s?
The ones that you could use for a foundation for a house. Yeah, those.
Yeah. The ones that were used like in the Matrix video, where you only had WAP, Matrix video. Did I say Matrix video? The Matrix movie. God.
Yeah.
Sorry. The Matrix movie. Okay, yes. Do you remember WAP? I
remember WAP. It was the early days when I started using a mobile phone, and it was WAP, because that was also like you have to look up something and then do it for a minute, or otherwise your entire credits is burned. Because that was WAP for me, because I was a teenager that didn't have any money.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I wrote some stuff to work on a mobile phone in WAP. All right. I mean, it was just XML. With
XML,
particular,
yeah.
Oh, you youngsters with your fancy JSON. Oh.
No, but JSON's out. It's all YAML these days, or whatever it's called, or YAML.
I call this
something.
I call this a resurgence of YAML. I was doing YAML when it was Blend. I can out. Sad anybody. All right. On that note, it's probably a good time to say goodnight.
Yeah,
and
it's been good fun, really.
Yes, and I think you have won your place in season 2. We have to have another catch up. I've said that to other people; they should come back on, but I didn't mean it. But I do mean it for you.
Yes, good. But until then, I do hope to meet in person sometime.
Yes, yeah, physically, and I will be able to.
You'd probably see the shade of my head coming up first, but yeah.
Yes, and because I'm a tiny, petty human being, you'll find me slithering under a rock somewhere.
Who knows?
You got to know your weaknesses and know your strengths.
Yeah, well, yeah, I definitely have my weaknesses. Airplane seats is one, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not good, is it?
No.
Yeah, you've either got premium economy, and even that might be a bit tight.
Yeah, and premium economy is only if you're flying across the Atlantic. Other than that, it's either paying way too much money for business to get the same seat but only no one next to you, or suck it up for an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Or pay extra for bulkheads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that doesn't work. That doesn't work always either.
No. Oh well. Hey.
Yep. That's life.
You can reach things that are, in supermarkets on the tall shelves. So swings and roundabouts.
I've had shop employees ask me to get something from the shelf because otherwise they'd have to go get the ladder. Yeah, that occurs. That has occurred. Yeah.
Oh, you see, you've served your purpose. You've saved them.
And they ask it really ashamed, like, "Sir, I should not be asking this, but could you please get that from the shelf because otherwise I'd have to walk all the way back to the stock to get the ladder." I'm like, "Sure, here."
It's my superpower. I'm happy to share it. There you go.
Yeah. I'd love to share that with people. It's no problem.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Benny. You've been wonderful. And thank you all for watching. And see you next time. Oh, tomorrow night. I'm talking to someone else. I don't know. They won't be as good as you, so I'll be fine.
Right. Okay. Good.
All right. Take care. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye.